Hello, BookTube. Given the news of the last 24 hours, I very much wanted to do a few videos where I just talk about books with you. I'll do a video where I talk about that news, but I also wanted to do a video where I don't. A number of videos where we just talk about books. And at first I thought that would be a little bit of a problem since no book mail has come today, and I haven't been out to go use book shopping. But Zach from the Brattle came through because the Brattle sometimes delivers books, so to me anyway. Zach had to come by and he brought books with him. And that plus a couple of other things gives me things to talk about with you. A stack of books that we can talk about just to take our mind off everything else. So the first thing is a treasure. I am probably going to drop a lot off the reading schedule for tonight to read my way through this. This is the collected essays of Virginia Woolf. This is volume 3. It's satisfyingly big. And I have volume 1 and volume 2. And now I have volume 3 of her collected essays, but don't let the title fool you. These go in chronological order, and so the earliest volumes of them are largely not essays. The earliest volumes are when Virginia Woolf couldn't have got anybody to pay her for an essay. They are book reviews. One book review after another, where she would get a box of books in the mail from an editor at the TLS who would say, here you go. We're not expecting you to come and look at our book room, but given your interests and given the things you've written for us before, here's a box of possibilities. See what you can do with these, and what we'd ideally like is if you could review them all. But if you find something that's totally uncongenial, fine. And if by some miracle you want to review 2 or 3 of them in one short piece, fine. And I myself don't think that Virginia Woolf was really cut out for that kind of work. Some of us are, some of us aren't. I don't think she was really cut out for that kind of work, but boy, oh boy, does she turn in gems. Just amazing gems. And as she gained more confidence and as she published more of her own books to more and more critical acclaim, she got more space. It became more of a thing, more of an event to have a Virginia Woolf piece of any kind. And that's why this book is longer than the earlier two, because the pieces start to get longer. And they start to be more general ruminations on reading or on collecting books or whatnot. A lot of these things have been collected before in other Virginia Woolf collection essay collections, but I love these volumes because the editor, Andrew McNeil, tightly ties the footnotes to each piece with details from her diaries and her letters. So that if in a letter or a diary entry she mentions, oh, I got this big, huge, ugly thing about Scottish clans, he knows what that's referring to because he can time it with what the review was that she was working on at the time. It's an amazing editorial feat. And I love these. After all, this is my profession. Writing about books is my profession, has been for a long time. And she is the goddess of our idolatry. She is one of the best people ever to do it. So this was a genuine treat to get home delivered. Then there was something that I found just sitting on a stone wall. Somebody put it out with a sign saying free. So I took it, even though it's not usually my cup of tea. It's a Folio Society edition, without a box, without a slipcase. But I usually don't. I don't think I own any Folio Society editions. And I wouldn't have just grabbed it just because it was a Folio Society. But this is a Folio Society of one of my favorite books, Treasure Island. With Long John Silver there on the cover with all those seagulls. And it has, it's full of original artwork. Rather moody, color-saturated original artwork. That I guess I will come to love. I'm much more accustomed to and have read a million times the Scribner version with N.C. Wyeth illustrations. But I mean, this has a pro forma introduction. Who does the introduction is rather dull. It's rather dumb. It's by, who is it by? Michael Morpurgo. And the illustrations are by Sterling Hundley. There's a very odd flavor to them. But finding a Folio Society of Treasure Island necessarily means that I must reread it. I know that doesn't make any sense because I've read it a million times, but I don't make the rules. I found this, so I have to reread it. So that was interesting. Then there was a new book that came in the mail, this thing, by Stefan Fatsis. I think some of you might have seen this on the Zoom conversation that I did with Hannah. This is a book about dictionaries. their history, their use, their endangered status today because nobody needs them anymore. Nobody needs a dictionary anymore. Not just for the correct spelling of a word, which used to be the main reason why people had dictionaries, but also for the definitions of a word. You don't need it for that anymore. That's on your phone at an instant. And also etymologies, which is the dorkiest reason why people like dictionaries, and that also is on your phone. So you don't need an unabridged dictionary, much less a multi-volume unabridged dictionary. You don't need it. So, I thought this was fairly entertaining. I feel like I should give it another go. The news of the day has distracted me from a lot of my reading. And then the last batch of stuff that I got here is all one author. And I had never heard of this author before, and I don't know what to make of these books. The author is Maurice Gardner, who was from Maine, and who was deeply involved. He was a big fan of Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan books. And boy, oh boy, there are different ways that you can show that. If you're a reader and a writer, there are different ways where you can show that you love Edgar Rice Burroughs. One way would be to collect him. One way would be to read and preach the gospel of him and his works, just love him. And I guess another way would be to rip him off. I guess that's a kind of flattery. And that's what Maurice Gardner did. That was by far the most popular thing that he did in his life. He created a character called Bantan. Not Tarzan, but Bantan. And Bantan is a modern man, but he becomes Lord of the Jungle in the South Seas, rather than in darkest Africa. And has a whole bunch of adventures. In Bantan Defiant, he faces off against the Japanese. Bantan is in action again. This was $3 when it originally appeared, and it originally appeared in 1955. So this came after Bantan Godlike Islander and Bantan and the Island Goddess. So this might be the third Bantan adventure in the 1950s. Readers throughout the United States who remember the heroic exploits of the bronzed young American who became a South Sea Island chieftain will be delighted with this latest book in the famous Bantan series. For now, Bantan deals with the greatest challenge of his life. World War II is in the offing, and the Japanese invade his island, Marja Island. And obviously they have their tangles with him. So this is Bantan Defiant. I am really wondering if these Bantan books had cheap mass market paperbacks with lurid artwork that I somehow missed in seeing 2 million mass market paperbacks. I haven't looked it up because I just got these. This is another one that he did. This is later. This is from 1976. So he kept writing these things. We have Bantan of the Islands, Bantan of the Island Goddess, Bantan Defiant, Bantan Valiant, Bantan's Island Peril, Bantan Incredible, Bantan Primeval, Bantan Fearless, Bantan and the Mermaids, Bantan's Quest. Oh, come on. Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote a book called Tarzan's Quest. And this one is the ancestors of Bantan, because it turns out he comes from a long line of bronze jungle gods who apparently live in an alternate reality because humans never saw dinosaurs, except for birds. Humans never saw T-Rexes. But in this volume, Bantan's ancestors, who are every bit as bronze-like as he is, are in the Pleistocene era. Beginning with Bana. Each eldest male for the most part was born bearing the birthmark upon the right temple. Why this was so cannot be answered with truth. Upon one instance, an eldest son was born with no birthmark. He met with an early death. A second son, however, bore the birthmark, and he lived a long life. I'm not thinking that I'm dealing with Tolstoy here, but I've never seen these before. I've never experienced them before, so I couldn't resist. And I have a couple of other Maurice Gardner books. I don't know how rare these things are. I've never seen them. This one is a collection of Maine hunting stories, Son of the Wilderness. I imagine this is heavily autobiographical. There you have, in the front, the author and Philip Gardner, which I assume is his son. And then Island Paradise and Other Stories. I don't know who's doing the artwork for these covers. It's all the same person, but they really ought not to be. These two somehow are walking on water just because of the ineptitude of the artist. And the P in Paradise is a tree. And this is from... Oh, there we are again. Okay. Okay, we're actually told who the guilty party is. The jacket and frontispiece are by Dave Prosser. Okay, I wouldn't have admitted that. This is from 1964. So I have a selection of Maurice Gardner's writing from over the decades. No idea what I'm in for, but I saw them and I couldn't turn it down. So probably I will not keep these. But they will be a little education in the exploits of Bantan and in the writing of Maurice Gardner, which I do not know at all. I am assuming that it is god-awful. I'm just going to assume that. I don't know if that makes me a snob or not, but so a little bit late for Garb August, but I couldn't resist. So there you go. Some book talk for today, for a time of otherwise grim news. I'll hope that I'll have my mojo back tomorrow. Maybe I'll talk to somebody via Zoom. Maybe I'll have a lot more videos. But I'll wrap this up for now, and I hopefully will see you then. Thank you, BookTube.